eloquent evening.
God and goddesses.
It's your girl Jay, also known as Jay Demi, and I'm here with the best co-hostess with the most.
It's your girl Kay, also known as Kay Vex, and it's a pleasure to be able to be on this good podcast with my gorgeous sis,
Yes.
Jay Demi.
And we're here again to drop a jewel. That's all we're ever here to do is drop a jewel. We might drop one, we might drop two. Maybe a jewel to you might be something, not a jewel to somebody else, and maybe they might see a jewel that you don't see. I'm just glad y'all came to chop it up one more time with us.
We missed y'all.
45 minutes? Yes, I feel like it's been forever since we recorded.
Yes.
So, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for listening. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share on any and all platforms.
Yes.
www.ventureseasonnetwork.com. Tap into the website. And we here.
Yes.
Today, we're going to hit y'all with something that might be a little bit self-revealing. Going through this topic and definitely like looking at just definitions of these words, which I'm about to say to y'all, so y'all know what I'm talking about very quickly here. I think that it made me question like what I thought I was, and me realizing that I might be a mixture of a few things. So this week, we are going to talk about pessimism, realism, and optimism. Okay. I think that for me, before I say anything about for me, let me tell y'all what it is, because I have the definitions, right? So I feel like we all probably have our own, like, ideas. Like, when we hear those words, it's like, oh, it must be this, or they got to be talking about this, or whatever the case. No. So let's just first start with the definition, right? Start there. Pessimism is a tendency to see the worst aspect of things, or believe that the worst will happen. It's a pessimist would be a person who has a life is horrible outlook on things.
I always look at the negative side, or manifest the negative side of outcomes instead of looking at other possibilities.
Realist is a person that is is a person who accepts the situation for what it is and is prepared to deal with it accordingly. They don't have too much of an idea one way or the other. They just know like what the outcome potentially is, what the possibilities are, and they're ready either way, right? Doesn't matter which way the cookie crumbles, I'm ready, So that's to simplify it. And then the last one is optimism. This is a person who is hopeful and confident about the future. They are very positive usually, and they think that the best is going to come to them. And if the best does not come to them, it wasn't meant for them and they didn't need it. So things just are what they are, So my first question for you, sis, what is pessimism to you? I won't even just say pessimism. I'll say, let me rephrase this question because we don't care about definitions, right? Which one would you say is more fitting to who you are and why? Let me ask that.
I would say I'm in the middle of a realist because depending on the circumstance, I can be pessimistic, but also depending on the journey, I can be optimistic. I feel like realism is a good in between because it teaches me to appreciate staying present, and that if anything goes wrong, it was meant to go wrong, and if anything goes right, it was meant to go right.
Yeah.
I used to be optimistic. I feel like older with age, that ability to dream beyond your circumstance is harder. So, not that way. And I mean, I'm still healing, so in some instances, I can also be pessimistic.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's a good combination of all three. But it comes in waves. How about you?
I have always been more pessimistic in my life on the outlook of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Not really like, I don't think I'm that way towards things in general, but I think like for me, it's like, if this is an internal thing that's important to me, like, you can look at the cup as half empty instead of it as being half full, because if you look at it as half empty, you're gonna work harder to try to get it more full.
Mm-hmm. But is that overindulgence a little bit too? Because it's like you're not really present in the gratitude.
It's wrong in a lot of ways. It's wrong in a lot of ways. I feel like most of my life I was pessimistic and a realist at the same time. I would say 50-50. Now at this point in my life, I'm working on being more optimistic. I do believe I've worked very hard and I've done very well at letting the pessimistic part go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm pessimistic anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might disagree, but that's fine.
Girl, they haven't met you at your evolution yet.
That part, because not too many experience me now. I think that I've even had people say like they watch and listen to the podcast because it lets them in a little bit to how I think and what's going on a little bit, and then it's like, hey, that's the reason you watch. Keep watching. I want you to keep watching because that's what I'm here for. I really am sharing my life and my experiences, but I think that at this point I am trying to be more positive about life, you know. I think when you reach the middle of your life, that's what they would call this phase I'm in now, middle. Once you reach the middle of your life, I think you have to start thinking about whether or not you like what you want next, where you are now and what's keeping you from that next level that you want. And for me right now, that next level is peace.
Got you.
And just happiness, right? And if every situation I'm looking at it as half empty instead of half full, that's more of a negative connotation on life than a positive. Mm-hmm. So like for instance, right, let me let y'all into my crazy a little bit. My pessimistic ways.
Girl.
Go to Dunkin' Donuts regularly, right? And I'm very, very specific about how I order my food, my coffee, anything I order in particular. And I make sure to do what I think is clearly communicating it, but some people don't feel like I guess, clearly because they fuck it up, okay? So, you know, you go and you get your coffee or whatever, you reiterate it to the person. So you taking an extra step to make sure you get your shit right. You paying extra money for it because you know they're charging you extra for this and that or whatever the case may be. And then you get your coffee and it's wrong. But this ain't the first day.
It's been repetitive.
You come here every day. You come here every day. You've been living across the street for years, so you just come here every day. And they still making your shit wrong. Some people in there make it right because it's convenient. And I feel like you should know by now, right? You should know by now. Everybody in here knows me. The manager has given me free stuff multiple times because y'all mess up my stuff and y'all give a horrible experience. But yeah, that's up to you, right? Because I could change me, right? If it makes me that, if it impacts me that much where it's making me feel negative, that's what I should do. I should go somewhere else.
But like you said, it's convenient.
It's convenient.
What are you sitting in? Is that the place of comfort that you go to every time?
So, I could just be nice and say, hey, listen, such and such about this could be corrected. I need such and such correct. But it's like you get mad. It's like, yo, here we are again. And y'all made my shit wrong again.
Girl.
So right now I'm mad. So my face fucked up. My attitude's fucked up. I'm arguing with them now. They telling me I ordered my shit wrong and everything, and that they're gonna fix it. And now I'm just even more mad because on top of everything, I was late. I shouldn't even jumped in this line. I gotta get to work. So now I'm even later because I'm waiting for you to fix my shit. So I'm getting more and more mad. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm pissed off. I'm at fucking work, and all I can think about is the fact that they better be lucky I'm here. Cause bitch, no, with the morning I just had, fuck, don't nobody care about this salary. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally be in that mindset, like, from a pessimistic point of view. Now, I went into that now. Every time I go there, I was going into it expecting for them to fuck my shit up.
So you basically is manifesting it to be wrong every time.
Whereas, it's like, if I just go there in a positive mood and maybe, you feel me, order it, not like I'm irritated because I know they're going to fuck it up again, but maybe order it like I'm excited to be there. You know?
Because that works?
No, it don't always work. Not always. You know, at the end of the day, you're going to get, and that's what I'm saying, like, and that's the transition, right? Some people are like, oh, I want to be a certain way because I'll get better results. It's really not about the every single time results. It's about the average being better. It's not gonna happen every time, right? But you more like, my grandma used to always, you're more likely to get bees with honey than you are with vinegar, baby.
Very true. And
I'm the vinegar queen. Okay, I'm trying to figure out this whole honey thing. I'm working on it. I don't know, but that being optimistic part, and it just gives another positive overlay. Cause okay, I'll fuck my coffee up. I knew I was late when I pulled in this line. I knew it was a potential y'all could mess it up. What am I mad for?
Girl, see, the realist in me is just like, you know what? I didn't give y'all too many chances to mess up my order. Instead of me being disappointed, I'm gonna just find another coffee shop to go to.
That's what I eventually did do. You know, started going to Starbucks instead of the Dunkin'. You feel me? Spending more money, but I know my shit's always gonna be made right. I know I don't have to be mad. I know they have the healthier options I'm looking for. They upcharge, but it is what it is. And that's what I did for a while, you know. Now, my boyfriend, who's a lot more optimistic than I the fuck am, he goes to Dunkin' and get my shit every morning. And so he does with them. For the most part, they usually don't fuck it up. And here and there they do, but it's not very often. So, and they know him and they know me. And so, you know, it just kind of is what it is there, you know what I mean? So, it's beauty in being open to different possibilities. And that's why I'm working on being more optimistic. I'm a hard realist right now. And I think being a realist in my pessimistic ways, my pessimistic past, and being a realist even in my very going toward the optimistic future, it keeps me grounded.
Yeah. Because
regardless as to what, I know that there's certain things I can't stray too far from, because the reality is my life gonna fall off tracks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one of them people, like, let's say hypothetically, I did cocaine before and I loved it. I know I can't fuck with nothing like that because that's too far astray to a problem that's gonna fuck my life up. I care about my kids too much. I care about my job too much. I care about, you feel me, what I'm perceived as too much. Because I do. Like, a lot of people be like, oh, you shouldn't care what people think. Man, listen, I do give a fuck what people, some people think when they look at me. Some people, like, I care. Like, when you see me, I do want a person to see a certain thing. Now, I understand I'm diverse. I might be one Jewel today, and I might be Jay tomorrow, and I might be Jay Demi on Saturday. I don't know. But I do care about what's perceived of me in certain moments. But you're going to get what you're going to get. Like, I'm not one of them people that'll be like if I start braiding my hair and half of it ain't done, and I got to go get my kids, I'm not putting a scarf on.
No, just put it up in a ponytail.
I'm not putting a hoodie on. you gonna see that I'm in the middle of braiding my hair. And if I just so happen to need to run into Walmart real quick and grab a couple things because I need to cook dinner, but I know I still gotta finish my hair and I'm not gonna want to leave out again, I'm going in Walmart like that too.
Girl.
Oh, that look like Jewel. It sure is. Hey, what up? I'm in the middle of braiding my hair. Don't mind nothing that's going on right now, but you know.
Is it crazy that you and my ex got me to that level of comfortability? Because before I used to be like, nah, I can't go outside without looking the part, without feeling like me. Now I'm just like, you know what? Y'all gonna get what y'all get, and if you fucking with it, you fucking with it. If you're not,
sometimes
somebody gonna catch this vibe.
Sometimes I'm on 200. Sometimes I'm on 22. Leave me alone. Okay. Either way, I'm still me authentically. Like, and that's the I don't go too far one way or too far the other because it's like I hate disappointment. So that's what keeps me from being so optimistic.
You're saying a whole word right now. Like,
I hate disappointment, and that's what keeps me from being submerged in the positivity and optimism because manifestation is real, right?
Yeah.
It is real. You know, prayers and blessings, they're real, right? And when you're creating a negative space for yourself, those things really can't live. And that's why they can't live to their fullest potential, I'll say. So I'm trying to control the part that I can control, which is like my general outlook on things. And when it comes to optimism, lots of room for disappointment. Like, yes, you can be anything you want when you grow up. But if you go your whole life not trying to do well in any type of education, how you still gonna walk around talking about you about to be a lawyer?
You said a whole word because
like,
well, optimism comes dreaming, but in order for you to dream, you have to be willing to do the work.
In order to see the fruits of dreaming,
you have to do the work.
In order to achieve your dreams and success.
Because it is possible. But what they say, faith without work is dead. So
dead. You can't do nothing if you're not willing to work for it.
You can pray on a prairie, but guess what? You ain't gonna get there without putting in that muscle, putting in that work. And that's, like you said, that's where I get stuck at in regards to optimism, because sometimes I'd be like, my expectation and how I would want things to go, and then the reality of how they actually go,
different.
Very different. And I have to constantly remind myself that, like, I am a person who I'm living through the flesh right now, but my soul is having this experience. And what am I doing that's conducive to my growth? What am I doing that's avoiding me being able to grow and be that person that's on the borderline of optimism and realism instead of optimism and pessimism? And it's a struggle. It is a struggle because no one's perfect. Like,
I think you're very optimistic, though.
Am I optimistic or am I airhead? Because sometimes the two lines, they mean a lot. Like, look,
it's optimism. It really is, because it's just an overall outlook. For instance, when our flight got canceled in NOLA, after we have been in that airport for damn near 12 hours, right? Damn near 12 hours we have been in that airport. I get on the phone with my boyfriend and, you know, to tell him that I think the flight's gonna end up getting canceled and, you know, we're waiting, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay. Yeah. So when I got home, you know, he was like, I'm not gonna lie. He was like, I didn't talk to you about it while you were there because I didn't want to make you angry or make you think about all the negative shit that was happening. But when I called you when you was in the airport after you found out that basically your flight was canceled and y'all had to come out of your pocket more money to stay another night and all this other BS, the Jewel I know would have been pissed, upset, mad, angry, ready to curse anybody and everybody out. And he was like, but you weren't like that. Like, you didn't seem stressed, you didn't seem angry, you didn't seem like flustered, you were calm as hell. Like, and I like, normally in a situation like that, you wouldn't have been like that. And I was like, yo, I swear to God, it's just because I was with Kayla.
No, you know what it is?
Like, it's like, regardless what happens, we're gonna tackle this shit together, so we're gonna be good. Like, and I know I'm gonna hold up my end of it, whatever bullshit we get into, and I know I'm with somebody that can be accountable for whatever bullshit we get into, and we're both gonna fucking pull together and do what needs to be done. So I just wasn't.
It's crazy that
I wasn't flustered.
It's crazy that you say that, because in my head I'm like, fuck this shit. This is ridiculous. And then I'm like, you know what? I gotta find a solution so that me and Drew can just remain calm, because it's a big factor. If both of us is hostile right now, it's just not a good look. And I'm like, I know our mothers and our grandmothers raised us better than this. So let me find a solution. Let me talk to my girl about a solution, and if we don't do accord,
let me
that's
tell y'all. When I say, and here's another thing, right? I feel like when it comes to optimism, pessimism, and being a realist, like, they directly impact how influential you are, right? And how influential you are, and how easily influenced you are by the people you love. So, like, if she would have been tripping, I would have been tripping. I would have been tripping.
Girl.
Like, and then everybody else around us could tell that we was the type of people that just didn't play.
Yeah.
And we were just like, yo, it doesn't matter what happens, because this is the worst case scenario. Like, we were literally sitting there like, let's prepare for worst case scenario. Yeah. We sat there for hours like, she's looking for a solution, and I'm just like, do something to keep yourself calm.
No, you was looking for a solution too, because like, all right, let me explain how our relationship dynamic went, right? I'm like, all right, well, if we gotta find a solution, me and my homegirl, really, me and my good sis right here, really don't want to stay another night, but if we have to, I feel like if they cancel our flight, it shouldn't be on us, because it wasn't an inconvenience that we did. We weren't late. We were sitting at the gate. Like, we did everything that we needed to get our ducks in a row. It was just mechanical issues on the plane. Second thought was like, all right, well, if I'm looking up solutions that we can utilize to the airport, my good sis, I already know from the bat, she's looking up solutions in the event that they don't come through. We already got a plan A, B, and C in place.
Like, fuck it, we was gonna be good.
And then the third one, I was just like, you know what? There's a reason why God didn't want us on that plane, because anything could have happened, and all we care about is going back to our family. So if we gotta stay another night so we can do that, we gotta stay another night.
The optimist in me. See, this is where, and it led us to bullshit. This is why. But it was still a great night. We had a bomb ass night before it turned into shit. The optimist in me said, this is God saying, y'all didn't get to dress up and go out. And come on, let's just do it. Now you get the chance. Like, now, one more night, just fucking do it. Go out, paint the fucking walls with your name, the streets with your names, and just go. And we did it. We had fun. Literally. But boy, were we in for treats. So, again, disappointment. When you're super optimistic.
I think we were good up until after we closed the place down.
Yeah.
If we would have went straight home after that, I would have said it would have been a perfect trip.
Right, absolutely. And that's, you know what? So I'm going to make this like 60 seconds. I won't take up too much of your time, but it's going to be fun. Just listen. So I'm rewatching Bad Girls Club. If you don't know what Bad Girls Club is, you fucking know. It's 17 seasons and they put them all up. So I'm watching them, right? Yeah. Going through the seasons. Season 7 was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Girl, the spots we went to
were
all up in the show. The streets we were on, everything. I'm like, and I'm saying to myself, like, yo, we really had a bomb-ass trip.
Yeah.
NOLA was fun. It was fun.
It was fun.
We just met some fuckboys at the end, and they were the disappointment of me being optimistic, because I could have also just said, fuck it, we ain't gonna go nowhere. Let's not do shit. Let's stay in Airbnb. Let's order some food. Let's get some liquor. Like, but we went out one. I'm glad we did, though, because I love Bourbon Heat. Shout out to Bourbon Heat.
Love y'all.
But yeah, my cousin showed me a picture. Speaking of that, my cousin showed me a picture last night of her taking a picture on a balcony across the street from Bourbon Heat.
That's lit. Wait, so she wouldn't know? Wait, all right, we got to go back. We got to stay on topic.
We're back.
We're back.
Look, we're back. Okay, you gotta get our little sidebar conversation sometimes, okay? All right.
That's lit though.
But no, so the optimism led to disappointment, and that's like my struggle, right? So this leads into my second question for you. do you aspire to be something different than what you are? You said you're what did you say you are?
I said I'm a realist, I would put, because I can sway optimism or pessimism depending on the circumstance. But I think I'm more of a realist.
We're twins.
Yeah, that's why we get along so well. Because we both be giving. Okay, you peep what I peep. That's it. We gonna keep that going. But I would prefer to be more optimistic because, one, you get to live in like your dream state. It's you create your world. The world is revolving, and the experience that you have is revolving around that focus of what you have set. And I feel like that's the key to success. Also, in a level of peace that you'll be able to obtain, because like God doesn't want us, and I know whatever you believe in,
whatever your God is,
doesn't want us to always look at the bad things that go on in regards to your life or the bad situations, because they're already handled, signed, sealed, delivered. Like, you're supposed to be here just to enjoy the simple, loving things in life. And I feel like it's very easy for me personally to get distracted with that. So I go into that realist mindset, where it's like, it is if it is, and it is if it isn't. But when it isn't, that pessimism draws into anxiety, then it draws into depression, and then it's a repeat of the cycle.
And that's why I hold on to the optimist side. And that's like, for me, I do want to let go of the pessimistic side of me completely, because the realist handles the depth within pessimism we should go. That's what I believe. You know, when you're being a realist, you are acknowledging the potential negative outcome or the potential other outcome that might not be ideal or whatever you're actually looking to achieve, right? So the negative part, like the being prepared for the worst kind of thing, because I feel like that's what pessimists think that they're doing, is they're preparing for the worst, so when the best happens, it feels better, right? But we are powerful. Yeah, we're a powerful being. So like, there's so much that we can say and do and act on to change what our outcomes are, right? And I feel like a person that is too optimistic, sometimes they lack work ethic because they just think it's all gonna work out. I can just do what I want because it's just all gonna work out. That's why I still want my realist side.
You just read me, okay? Because sometimes I'm like, I'm not doing this, but it's gonna figure itself out.
And it's not bad to think like that, right? Because you're letting go of stress, though, right? So it's not that that's bad, but it's like, if that's like all you are, like all you have, and that's just how you maneuver through like every aspect in life. You're never. There's so many different things that you're missing out on because you're not putting in the work, right? But as realists, we understand that we're not superheroes. So although we might be able to see every single piece of work that we need to do and everything we need to change, we're also not going to beat ourselves up, because while we're realists, we understand that we're human. We're not superhuman. And in order for me to be okay, I have to feel okay. So it's okay for me to be comfortable with not always being okay. Damn, that's that one right there. Right? Write that down. Say that 3 times fast. But yeah, I think you have to have the optimism. But that realism in there, that's the balance. I don't know if I'll ever let that go. I do want to become more optimistic, but I don't ever want to let being a realist go, because it's like, I want to see the situation for what it is. Don't sugarcoat me shit. Don't sell me shit. Don't put a fucking dream on my fucking blinders. Don't have me shooting for fucking 12 when the fucking ceiling for real, the opportunity you provided me is 6. Bitch, don't have me trying to break through impossible ceilings. Tell me what the fuck. And I'm not saying don't tell me that I can't, because I can do whatever the fuck I want. But do I want to put in double and triple and 3 and 4 and 5 times the work to achieve that? Bitch, don't try to make it seem like it's easy to send me on a fucking dummy mission, knowing damn well it takes other skills and things that I might not possess. You just want to send me on a dummy mission.
You want to know the crazy part, though?
You like the dummy mission, Kay?
Hear me out. Is that sometimes when you are in that level of optimism, your focus is so keen that you don't even realize that you are doing the work. It's just not in the way that to the outside world that it's what is expected. You get me? Because at the end of the day, you already know, like from your core, from your heart, from your soul, that I'm at plan A, and I need to get to plan C. Plan B is the work in between. You might not see the vision, or you might not see what I'm doing to maneuver.
Right, but that's why all these things matter, and that's why I said in the beginning, this is about self-reflection here, because it don't matter what the world see you as.
Yeah.
I can say you're a pessimist all day. What matters is what the fuck you are when you will lay in bed at night. And it's like, is that what's serving you? Is that what's fulfilling you? That's the question. Like, are you, like, if you are a pessimist, like I said, there was a lot of my life that I was a pessimist. And I didn't know that was what you would call me. But when you ask me about my outlook on life, I would tell you, like, man, this shit is some bullshit. And these are the things that unfortunately I got to do to make sure X, Y, and Z don't happen in my fucking life. And I'm sick of doing it, but I'm gonna do it. Like, that was like, you know what I'm saying? It's not the same as saying, well, you know, I know at the end of the day, there's certain things I got to do to have a certain type of a lifestyle. So I'm going to take certain steps to make sure that I ensure that lifestyle, but I'm still going to enjoy myself and make sure that I learn things along the way. So I'm not going to put myself in a box. Two very different things.
But also it's good to have in your circle too, like your people, like
accountability partner.
If I'm in my season of optimism and you're in your season of realism, I'm gonna need you to jump the chain with me, because there's gonna be some things that I'm not seeing clearly because I got my rose tinted glasses on, and it's not hating energy.
I was about to say,
it's not hating.
You're a hater.
If you're mature enough, you'll understand. Like, okay, I got my 6. I got her 6. She got my 12. Like, at the end of the day, we have to hold each other accountable and look out for each other.
And here's the thing too. Like, I have this other close friend, and you know, there's a situation that she's been fighting, like in court, and I've been telling her, you know, like, I get what you want, right? But like, just make sure you keep in mind that it might not go your way. Like, it might not go your way. Feel me? You need to be prepared to handle that emotionally, because at the end of the day, you can't control X, Y, and Z situation. Well, last week, she went to court and she won. And everything went her fucking way.
Thank God.
And you know what I said? Congratulations. I'm so happy.
Yeah, literally.
I said, because if you'd have asked me, it was a 50-50 odds. You know what I'm saying? Because even though right was right and wrong is wrong, the circumstances, you know, were able to potentially prevail in the situation. And it was like,
her faith was present. That's all I'm gonna say. Her faith was present.
Yo, let's take a shot. We gotta link up. We gotta celebrate. Like, I'm super happy. Like, and other people, like, if it was, you know, a friend that I no longer have anymore, I might have, you know, gave her my opinion while she was going through a court situation, and telling her, you know, oh, it might not potentially, like, just be prepared for maybe and not to go like this for this reason, that reason. You know, giving valid reasons why. In this fucked up world and this fucked up justice system that's not so just. You know, I know for a fact that they would have been like, why are you trying to rain on my parade, and like thought I was on some hate shit. And you know.
You can clearly tell the distinction between someone being real with you and letting you know, like, this is the possible outcomes. We're going to hope for the best, but we also are going to prepare and acknowledge that it is a possibility that it won't work. And then there's a difference between every time I have a conversation with you regarding stuff that's going on in my life, it's coming from a negative response or a negative response pattern. Once you identify, okay, every time I say something positive going on in my life, you have a rebuttal for it, and it's not in a way that's conducive to my growth, then at this moment, I am not going to hop on the pessimism train with you. I'm going to enjoy this ride right here on realism and optimism. And if we do cross paths again, we cross paths again. If we don't, I pray you the best. Like,
that part, pray the best. Pray the best. All right. So I think that one other thing I want to ask you about, right? Like, we're talking about, you know, someone completely positive versus someone who just takes the world as it is versus someone that's just completely, like, majority negative, like, just negative, right? What if you have some sort of relationship with someone who's a pessimist? Do you just dead that relationship because they're negative, or do you? I'll tell you what my thoughts are, but like, what if your sister was a pessimist? Like,
I would try to color her life as much as possible, but if that's where her mindset is, obviously grace. If you can't give grace and it becomes like just a relationship based on friction, it's like, I just gotta allow you, and it's sad, like, unfortunately it is tough love, but I gotta allow life to humble you in a little bit of ways where you'd be like, you know what, my perspective is causing me to stay in this negative repetitive pattern, and if I don't change my perspective, my outlook also won't change. Sometimes you can't tell someone how to think. You just gotta let life show them.
Yeah, I agree. Now what if you have a lover that's a pessimist? Is it the same approach?
Yeah. It's gonna have to be. It might be a little bit softer because that's your companion. That's supposed to be your rock.
But you keep it.
I think honestly, you would have to have the same energy that you have for your family.
So negative people don't deserve to be in a relationship?
No, I'm not saying that. They deserve to be with people that maybe possibly share the same perspective as them. Like, I feel like a realist and a pessimist probably would have a better relationship than an optimist and a pessimist. Because a realist can say, okay, I still see good, but I understand why you're cautious.
Okay. So I can understand what you mean there. I think that balance, like, is key, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have two people wide end of the spectrum, are they going to have very clashing moments? Yes. But that's what love is, right? It's compromise. So we're both two opposite ends of the spectrum. We should both be able to meet each other in the middle somewhere.
Mm.
Right?
If there's a
give and take. Right.
Then
that's like, what do you do? Are you keeping that? Like, it's not like your sister or your dad or your mom or something crazy like that. It's a relationship that you're choosing. Right?
At that point, what's Roger say? I gotta put me first, Lucius.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, that's when it becomes hard decisions, when you're dealing with people that are at a different point in life than you are. And I feel like that's the piece we all kind of have to remember, is that whether you're an optimist, a pessimist, or a realist, it's a lot about your environment, what you've been through, how you were raised, whatever the case may be, but then also just what's in your regular nature. Like, certain things are just who we are. Like, we don't know why we feel that way. Maybe nothing happened that had anything to do with that in our lives, and that's just how we feel. That's what we like. That's our preference. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have issues with preference, but I feel like it's okay to have standards, even especially when you're trying to work on being optimistic.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's a standard. You're choosing to not be on one end of a spectrum and to be all the way on the opposite end of that same spectrum, or have some of those qualities. And I think that's where it is for me, right? I feel like I've always kind of geared towards realism, but at my younger days, my parts of my life that were the most painful, I was following pessimistic type of behaviors and relationship behaviors and relationship responses and all that stuff. Whereas previously, like, I'm now where I'm working on being is more along the lines of the optimistic piece, because it's like, what am I worried about?
Yeah.
I can only control what I can control anyway, so why look at it in any negative light? Because it's just going to be what it is.
I think with age comes that aspect though. Like, as you get older, you realize, like, a lot of stuff that you used to put fight under or had to over-explain, overindulge.
I don't even know if I would say age.
You're right. Experience.
Experience.
Because then you start realizing that, like, it's just not worth, if it's disrupting my peace. Like, your peace and your time are, like, the two most valuable things that you can own and that you can give to someone.
Some people are addicted to chaos.
I don't understand how you sleep at night being addicted to chaos.
Some people like I think that at a point in my life, like I even had somebody tell me as like early as a couple weeks ago that I'm addicted to stress. And I'm like, you might be right. I might be, and they were like, the way that you look at things is just, it's from a point of, I want to feel all the stress out of it. Instead of just being like, it just is what it is.
Or do you want to try to change it, and your approach in trying to elicit that change
is discomfort.
It is discomfort, and you rather go
There's
through the
growth in discomfort
than to be comfortable.
You can't grow in comfort. You can't grow in your comfort zones. You got to step out of them, and in order to step out of them, there has to be some piece of optimism.
Yeah.
And you better have at least a little piece of realism. And I think everybody needs to kind of step away from pessimism. That's just the way that I think. And you can't change people. And I think that's another struggle that people face, is that we try to change people's views on life. And I think we need to stay the hell away from that, personally.
I agree.
Mind your business until somebody asks you, because shut up.
Also, like, loving your people unconditionally is experiencing several different funerals and seeing them grow through those funeral stages of their lives, like, and experiencing that change. And if you can't do that with, like, the people that your soul answers to at the core, like, it's just, don't occupy someone's time if you know that you don't really have their best interest at heart.
Don't waste my fucking time and my energy, because let me choose to let you waste it.
Or if you're going to waste it, let me know up front so I can make that choice.
Tell me what your intentions are so I can make the choice to deal with it or not. So I can at least respect you in the end when the cookies start to crumble and I start to feel pain from my dumb decision.
Because I'm not going to blame you. I'm going to blame me.
When you start lying and I can't make the decision for myself, no, then that is your fault.
Yeah.
That is your fault. And that's just clear. Yeah. That brings me to my last question. Is being one of these three better than the other?
I don't think so. I think it's, from experience, it depends on the circumstance. Because I still feel that you need all three, but depending on the experience and the circumstance I have. Example, right? I work in NASA, so I have to monitor meteorites possibly hitting the Earth, right? I'm gonna take more of a pessimistic approach because it's going to be a level of prevention there. But me working in office as a president,
but how can you be pessimistic?
Because you're expecting the worst already. So it's like, to what caliber will this worst happen?
But you're in a seat so dire that it's like, how can you think like that? Scary.
It all comes with the level of risk, because like that same circumstance as a president, I want to be optimistic because I'm leading my people. So I don't want them to be in a state of fear.
Yeah.
And then the middle is Congress and the state being like, well, if this happens, this is the protocol that we're going to have to follow, vice versa. So I think you need all three to work to really be able to make the best possible decision or outcome.
I disagree. Fuck pessimists. You guys are fucking idiots. You need to work on yourselves, and you're fucking hurt.
I mean, you can say the same thing about optimistic people. Like, you need to learn
to hurt. How's a person that now
they can be delusional.
I think there's levels, right? But being completely one way is like, you got work to do. Any one way, I think. Balance is key.
They say you can be all three, but you got to just take the hats off depending upon the circumstance. Like, because I rather, if you tell me that the stove is hot,
again,
right? I want you to be pessimistic and be like, bitch, that stove is hot.
No, but is that pessimism or is that realism?
It's on the border, because
being a realist is understanding if you touch that shit, it's gonna burn you. why do I need to think further and deeper into it? Like, and once it burns me, then I'm gonna get an infection, and then I'm never gonna be able to have my fingers, and then they're gonna be nubs. And that's a fucking pessimist, right? Because you're just fucking literally thinking like down this horrible train of the worst. Whereas a realist is like, bitch, I know if I touch that motherfucker, it's gonna burn the shit out of me. So I'm not gonna touch it unless I want to, and right now I don't. And maybe when I touch it, I'll touch it real quick to just see if we were lying, because I think that I can also be optimistic about the fact that maybe that's not hot enough to burn me so bad. You know, but you use I feel like that's why the realistic part, the being a realist part, is that winning ground, but you have to have optimism to equate to a positive, happy outlook on your future in some way. But I just think pessimism has no space in my life.
Yeah. That's because
it's there, but I'm trying to get rid of it is the thing. And I think the healthiest, most functional, happy people in the world
are realists.
More optimists. Realist, or even maybe, because you got to think about it, like, I want to be more heavily optimistic than focus on the realist part, because it's like, what am I focused on anything other than how I feel and what's gonna serve me?
That's that inner knowing.
That's just that. That just is what it is. It doesn't matter what you do, what you say, any of that. Just is what the fuck it is. But the realistic part, that realism part, the realist part, that's that part that's why I said it deeps. This is, again, going back to the beginning of our conversation. Remember I said, I feel like realism deeps enough into the negative to keep the balance. Because a realist is going to acknowledge all, like, you know, the negative possibilities, the positive possibilities, and they're going to look at the work they put into it and expect a certain outcome. But know that it could also happen the other way too. So let's just see. You know?
It's like a gamble. I'm going to put it on 17.
And when 1 + 1 don't equal 2, somebody got some fucking explaining to do.
Yeah.
When the math ain't motherfucking mathing, bitch. Come on. We not. No. Not a realist. Not a realist.
An optimist
no.
Be like, oh, for real? Well, let me fuck around and find.
Somebody said this week that they were a realist, and I.
Jewel, no.
Listen, me and the other person that I knew, we were like, why this person is lying? Like, why would they even say that?
Self-realization. Not everybody has it. I learned that last year.
You really think you're a realist? Because, like, you're not. You're like that person was like a combination of pessimism and optimism mixed together, where optimism is only used as a display
selfish game
to manipulate the others on the outside.
Well, we're gonna pray for them. We're gonna pray for them.
Oh, damn, how we touch this topic so deep at the end of this? I don't know.
We're gonna pray that they you know, get
and with
girl.
that's right, that's when it starts digging deep, you know. You start feeling it and you start understanding it and start to settle, like, we gonna all be different, right? But I do have a jewel, right? We all think a little different, but I'm gonna drop a jewel for y'all. Drop this, sis. And don't be trying to get me for grammar, because I don't care about grammar, okay?
Girl, they fuck with you.
That's what I got. That's what I got.
Good.
I don't care about your grammar.
You good. You good.
Oh, bitch grammar.
Girl.
With the pessimistic, you almost got to be artistic. You got to approach the situation from a place that's kind of cryptic. But if they are an optimist, be sure to say out all of the dreams. Listen just enough to sow the genes at the seams. Yes, dreams are necessary, but so is the work. That's why some can't stand a realist, because when they start talking, the truth sometimes hurts. This is all about the outlook and how we see the world, right? So, of course, where we are is going to highly impact us when it comes to moving through every aspect of life. Find your balance, your base, and what creates your happy, so you can spend the rest of your life living, loving, and fucking laughing.
That part. Have yourself a good laugh this week. Have yourself a good laugh this week.
When you start to feel mad, yo, just laugh. Just literally, intentionally laugh. Try to laugh for at least 60 seconds. You'll feel better. Because for a second, you'll start to feel dumb. Like, this is so stupid.
And that's when you get
and then you'll think about that thing you were just mad about. And you'll be like, that person is so stupid. You idiot. You were having a bad day. Gonna fuck my mood up. Well, now you got it back.
And when in doubt, if you really sad or you mad, twerk it out. I promise you it'll help. Throw it back
really
a little
do.
bit.
They really do. And hey, although we do drink responsibly,
Yes.
get you a drink. Because, you know, it's balance. Thank y'all again.
Giving us 45 minutes of your life.
Bing bong. Nah, we're happy you came. Fucked it up with us again.
Always.
Tap into the YouTube, the IG, Demi Dropp'n Jewels, all platforms. Tap in, 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 tap in.
Look, you got me over here doing figure eights and shit. Start voguing.
Literally. That's so funny. Thank you. And I can't wait to see you next week. 6 p.m. Wednesdays, audio drops. 10 p.m. Saturdays. I wanted to move it up to 8, but you know what? This season it's 10 p.m. We're just gonna leave what we've been doing. Next season we'll move it up to 8. You know, maybe we'll move it up to 8 or like 6 or something, and we'll do like lives and watch it with y'all or something. I don't know.
Sounds spicy. Spicy, mommy. Sounds
Happen.
spicy.
Don't say that and ask it on the lips.
No.
Please tap it. Psych. Y'all gonna tap it. Because you got this far. And we love y'all. Peace.
Love. And prosperity. See y'all next week.
Bye.